How's it going, guys? Luke here, back with another trade of the week video. This is a little series where we like to showcase some of the best trades that we've placed during the last trading week. In today's video, I'm going to break down why I entered in where I did with this XAU USD short and why I set the parameters where I did as well. On top of that, I'm going to take you through the actions I took as price was playing out and give you my reasonings for them also. So, without further ado, let's jump into this week's top trade of the week video. So yeah, you heard it. It's another XAU USD short that we did capitalize on last week, and it was a brilliant return of 8.3%. We managed to capitalize a total of 250 pips on this swing, and we could have gained more, but we didn't allow greed to take over our mindset and the actions that we took with this position. So if you have watched any of my Sunday sessions videos, you'll know that I am biased to a sell on gold. I feel like the overall trend, the overall structure of the market, looking at the 1 week, the 1 day, and the other higher time frames, we can see how there's clear bearishness within the market. Me personally, I only like to trade with the trend and not against it. So I only look to sell on XAU USD. Now, we had a brilliant opportunity come to us on Thursday, and we took full advantage of that. What I'll do is I'll throw up the screenshot of our entry now. As you can see, we took advantage of the high that it's set after tapping into this level of supply here. Now, if we look here on the lower time frames, you can see more clearly the trade that we actually capitalized on, which was this one here. Now, reason for this was obviously we have the overall bias to sell in this market. And on top of that, we saw that price was actually approaching a level of supply that it's once tapped into before. XAU USD has a temperament of basically doing the same thing over and over again, repeating patterns and repeating structure within the market. Like with your Forex pairs, you know, there are cycles in the market and price tends to repeat itself. But especially with XAU USD, I've noticed how there are areas within the market that are very much appreciated, and you can expect high volatility actions to happen based on price tapping into those points. Now, looking here, we missed the opportunity to short there, but it was only 2 days later where we actually managed to capitalize on that same trade. I'm not going to sit here and say that I did hours and hours of analysis before placing this trade, because I'd be lying. It was literally a case of price tapping into a level of supply that was well respected and taking advantage of that and the reversal that took place. So obviously, we can see here the full swing, price tapped into the level of supply and then offered that large bleed out. Now, it did actually test this level of demand and has since sat on top of that, which is great for us. We didn't actually place our take profit at that point. We could have done by any means, but we didn't. Now, looking at this pair on the 1 hour time frame, we can see the swing more clearly, and I can break down our entry a little bit more. So looking here on the 1 hour time frame, we can see that clear tap into supply and then the rejection that was left afterwards. So this hourly candle actually closed, leaving a large wick. Now, this tells us that the bears were actually in control of the market. They dominated the bulls in this hour. Now, the candle that was produced afterwards was in fact a bearish one, a strong bearish candle. Again, telling us retail traders that bears may now be in control of the market. After clearing that liquidity to the upside, there are obviously more sell positions than there are buy positions, outweighing the odds and pushing that price down. Now, looking at this trade on the 15-minute time frame, this is where I got my entry. So as soon as I saw price tap into this area, giving us that clear rejection, and once price pushed back up, producing us with that initial retest before the continuation in this bearish move down, it left us with a level of resistance, let's say. So as you can see, I entered around here. Now, price failed to actually breach above this point. As price wasn't breaking above this point, it was suggesting to me that the bulls were getting weaker and weaker as time went on. So looking at this pair on the 1 minute time frame, we can see more clearly where we entered. So it was here. And it was just after a large dip down, And once we had that dip down and we entered in on the trade, you can see how price was actually producing clear bullish structure. So it was producing higher highs and higher lows. It was only at this point that the bullish structure was broken, as price had broke below these higher lows here, which therefore gave us bears more confidence that price was going to start taking its next leg down. As you can see, the high that it went on to set was actually lower than this one, again giving us more confidence and more confluence. Typically during bullish structure, you are going to see higher highs and higher lows. So each next high that is created is always higher than the previous one. And the same applies to each low. Each low that gets produced after the next one is always higher than the previous one. Now, because we had that break here and then the failed higher high, again, that gave us more confidence and confluence with our trade. And it was only a matter of minutes before we then saw gold plummet and our trade ran nicely into profit. And we did make our clients aware of this movement in the markets, showing them how bullish structure was being created and then that break in bullish structure, giving us that added confirmation, as I feel it's important to let our clients know what's going on with the trades that we are placing and the trades that we are monitoring, as it helps them understand the setup of the trade a little bit more. Now again, looking at this trade on the 5-minute time frame, we can see how momentum really slowed, and this always seems to happen just before a large drop. I'm not saying it happens every single time, but many a time that I've traded gold and I've taken advantage of these bleed outs and these dips in the market, momentum always seems to slow and volatility lacks in the pair. And that's because I believe it is preparing for this big down move. Now, obviously we had our entry here at 1824.47. We had our stop loss set at 1830.52. And that was placed there because that was above the last high that price produced before showing that clear rejection. So to me, it was almost like price wouldn't go above that point again without taking a large move down. So I knew that our stop loss was safe above that previous high. So with this trade, we had a stop loss of 60 pips. So our take profit had to be at least double that. I ensure that with every trade that I place, our potential returns is always double our initial risk. So I knew with this trade, our take profit had to be at least 120 pips. Now I stretched out our take profit as far as I thought it could go without any real interruption in the swing, and I was almost correct. So I set our take profit here at 250 pips, which gave us a lovely 8.3% return. And reason being was these lows here. So we had a low here and a low here. So these are points at which price had fallen down to before the market had essentially reversed. So I didn't want to set my take profit at these points just in case it didn't quite tap into them before taking a retest. So what I did was set my take profit just slightly above it. Now, it was only above by 20 pips, but that's more than enough. That gave me more security with the trade, and it gave me a realistic take profit target. Now, this trade was placed at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the Thursday, and take profit was achieved at about 6:30 the following morning. Now, as you can see, there was nothing magical about this trade. It was quite simple. It was literally based just off supply and demand and structural points in the market, and then obviously applying good risk management and having a good RR with my trade meant that I was able to capitalize on this position. Now, as you can see, we could have rode this down to the level of demand here, but like I said earlier on in the video, I didn't want to be too greedy with my position, and I wanted take profit to be achieved without any kind of interruption. Hence why my position was here, and I thought 8.3% was more than enough from one trade. So that is how I managed to capitalize 250 pips and 8.3% on XAU USD on Thursday. And funny enough, I wasn't actually going to place this position because I had actually incurred a loss on a Forex pair earlier on in the day. With the confirmation that I had and my confidence in the ability to read XAU USD, I just placed the position and obviously ensured that I was only risking 2% of my equity. And as you can see, it came through and we profited well from it. Now, I will be looking to capitalize on another short position on XAU USD later on in the coming week. But for now, I do believe price is going to be bullish. And then once it taps into a POI of mine, that's when I'll be looking to place my short position and again riding the bleed out down. So that brings us to the end of this week's top trade of the week video. Yes, the analysis was quite brief. I'm not going to sit here and make up analysis and lie about why and how I entered in on this position. It was quite simple. And my reasoning for it was quite simple. And as you can see, it played out. I feel like when you've been analysing a pair for so many years, you kind of just understand its movements. And the reasoning for why it does some of the things it does. And obviously it followed some structural points, and we had the confirmation there, which was great. And as you can see on screen, I did profit quite well from this position, and you can also see the Forex pair that I did take the loss on beforehand as well. Now, if you did enjoy the video, please leave it a like, and if you have any feedback, please leave a comment below. We like to read all the comments, and if you are interested in joining our free Learning Lounge group chat, link is in the description. It is completely free of charge. We post loads of analysis in there, loads of educational content, and on top of that, we have fundamental reports and fundamental news out on a regular basis. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a profitable week, and I'll catch you guys in the next Top Trades of the Week video.